This is the Napa River at the Pope Street Bridge area in St. Helena, California. And you can see the Napa River is bone dry. The riverbed is cracked and there's not a sign of moisture here. Yet this at one time was a free-flowing river that had salmon of both Coho, Chinook, and steelhead. The numbers have dropped so dramatically that the salmon are listed on the Endangered Species Act. And one of the main reasons is they don't have any water to live in. There's just very few places left in the Napa River watershed for salmon and steelhead to live. This dewatering is happening because there's too many groundwater pumps supplying vineyards, and there's a groundwater pump that is used to supply the city of St. Helena, very near the river here. You can hear my feet crunching on the riverbed. The crunching is from the algae, the dead algae that formed as the water became warm and diminished from the groundwater pumping and the surface water diversions. So algae forms, and sometimes it can become toxic to animals and humans. But all this patchy white is dead algae from when the river flows dropped, the river got warm, and the algae started to bloom heavily from all the nutrients, again from the vineyards. They use a lot of artificial fertilizers, and during the rainstorms, the fertilizers wash into the river and start feeding the natural occurring algae. So when the water gets warm and the flows diminish, that sets up the right environment for the algae to take over. And as you can see, it covered the surface of the water before the water was all gone. So much has to be done to restore the Napa River. Many say they are restoring it, and they're spending millions of dollars planting native plants and restoring degraded riverbanks. But if you don't have water, all the restoration in the world doesn't bring back the animals. And if you see up here, as I walk towards this rock outcrop, that would have been a place for steelhead and salmon and all manner of other aquatic animals like yellow-legged frog, California freshwater shrimp. In those undercut banks over there on the bank, that's where the shrimp like to hang out. But as you can see, there's no water. They would have held up in this deep pool as long as they could, but as the water diminished, they were subject to predation, and all the critters in the river died. So Napa County has way over appropriated water, surface water and groundwater. Surface water has been over appropriated. They gave out too many permits, and there wasn't enough water to cover the permits. So this is what you get when you destroy a natural resource. The Napa River belongs to all of us, belongs to the people, the animals. And there's been a lot of greed over water, and nobody's paying attention to the fact that the river has gone completely dry here, killing all living aquatic animals. Action needs to be taken. Chris Malin, the Institute for Conservation advocacy, research, and education. Lift up your voices and don't let this happen to your rivers and streams. Keep our rivers and streams alive, flowing, so that future generations can have clean flowing water. It takes everybody to keep this from happening. September 15th, 2024.